Hey everyone. All right, welcome. We're just waiting for a few more people just to join the session. All right. So just wanted to welcome everyone today to the HackFS 2024 MONA workshop, Interoperable 3D Assets with the MONA Wallet SDK. So I have I have Ryan Green with us. He's going to be talking to you a little bit about the SDK. And with that, I'll pass it on to Ryan.
Well, hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Um, my name is Ryan. I work for Mona. I have been an indie game developer, mostly in Unity for the last, 15 years or so. I recently joined Mona back in November, and my focus on the team, along with my other fellow game developer, Alejandro, has been focusing on building tools to help build an open metaverse. And what we're focused on at Mona is building an open metaverse, and that requires tools that allow us as developers and players to connect the things that we have in our Web3 wallets together into multiple metaverse locations, right? And so with an open metaverse, there's lots of different ways that you can come in, whether that be through a mobile app or through a desktop app or through a website. And so right now we're focused on building out a SDK. I'm going to share my screen here. And this is a very early alpha of an SDK that we're building that will allow developers and players to use what's the 3D objects that are in their wallets in different experiences. And so to start off with, if you're if you are have joined the hackathon and you've looked at our bounties and you want to join us, you can go ahead and visit this GitHub, github.com/monaverse/mona-wallet-unity for an early peek at the SDK that we're building. I'm going to spend the next half hour kind of getting into the code and showing you how to integrate this SDK into your new or existing Unity project. And with that, we'll get started. This MONA Wallet SDK has this README that will lead you through the setup. We'll jump right into Unity, but just to let you know, I and other Mona developers are in the Discord, the ETH Global Discord, and I believe the channel is partner-Mona. And so if afterwards you have any questions, I'd be happy to help. If you have any issues, I'd be happy to help as well. So to get started, we're building in Unity 2022. I am using let's see, can't see my screen here. 2022.3.23. And we are using a wallet connect to be able to connect your wallet via QR code. And we are, once you connect via your QR code, then you take that verified wallet address and send it to our SDK for authorization. And then once you get authorized there, we'll be able to send you the contents of your wallet. So the MONA Wallet SDK uses Wallet Connect right now, and since we're connecting to a wallet, we've embedded the Wallet Connect SDK. And so in order to download that, you could go to the releases channel, and that will be like the latest release. You can come down here, download a Unity package that's built. This is the latest public release. Today, I'm going to use a little bit more bleeding edge of a release, which can be found under the Actions tab. The Actions tab, each of these PRs doesn't auto build. And so if you go into actions, go into the latest commit, then you can find the package here. So we'll download this package, which is auto built upon commit. And like I said, this is very early. We will be rapidly changing this, but at least for the purposes of this hackathon, you'll be able to use it there. So that will download a zip file. You double click on this to open your zip. And then you have your Unity package here. So what we'll do is we'll start with presumably an empty scene or an empty Unity project. Use at least 2022-317, I believe. I think that's the LTS version. I'm using a more recent version for other reasons. And then after that, you take your download and you drag this into your project folder. Drag it into a project folder. We'll ask you to import. You can go ahead and import. If along this demo you guys have any questions, just raise your hand and the host will pass them on to me, I believe. Or ask them in the chat and I'll try to answer as I go. So import, which should import everything into a, let's see, into a MonaVerse folder. This MonaVerse folder. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Let me do that again. Import. Okay, I wanted to do this one. Okay, this MonaVerse folder has our core SDK as well as an example file. And this example file, you can open up a scene that will give you sample code for connecting to the SDK and authorizing. This is kind of a more comprehensive example about how to listen to the events that come off of the SDK, as well as like interact with UI and such. We'll be doing a slightly simpler one as we go here. So I'm going to delete this, hopefully fix the compiler. Yeah, okay. All right, so that's importing the SDK. You import it in, it creates a MonaVerse subfolder. The 3D objects that we integrate with are GLBs and or GLTFs. And GLTF is a universal format, kind of like FBX or USD from Apple. GLB is less vendor specific. And it's a standard that's supported by the Kronos group. And so we're starting with GLB and then GLB with VRM support. So we will support avatars, objects, or avatars and objects to start. Okay, so what that means is along with our SDK, which will allow you to pull the contents of the user's wallet, you'll also need a GLTF importer and a VRM importer. We use internally, as we're kind of developing some no-code tools for these sort of experiences. We are forking the Unity GLTF, importer. Which is kind of the official Unity GLTF importer of Kronos Group. And so I've forked it for some like additional experimental features for like no code solutions. So this is the one that I'm using in the project. And this is listed in the Open UPM Package Manager. Open UPM Package Manager is a way to bring non-asset store assets into Unity. And so it's a package, it's like a third-party package manager outside of the official Unity asset store. So you'll find a lot of open source projects here. But here we have the MONA Unity GLTF. And so in order to add these packages to a project, you need to go into your Unity project, go to Edit, Project Settings. Project Settings has a package manager option right here. And you notice that I've added a new repository. And so this repository allows me in the package manager to import these tools. So here you would press add to add a scoped registry, and then fill out OpenUPM, https://package.openupm.com. And then I am using prefixes for our MONA libraries, as well as the VRM library that we're using for importing avatars. So after you enter that in, close this window, go to Window, Package Manager. And in the Package Manager, you'd select My Registries. And after you select My Registries, you would see a filtered list of our early experimental SDKs, as well as the VRM packages. So what I do here is click on Unity GLTF and press Import. And it should import both the VRM importer that uses Uni GLTF, as well as the MONA Unity GLTF plugin, which means that right now in my scenario, this might not be your preference. You can import one or the other, but we are using both the MONA Unity or the Unity GLTF and the Uni GLB, which means that there can be some collision with your importer. And so if you have two GLBs packages that are being imported at the same time, Unity doesn't know which one to use to import objects. And so we will, let me open up. To fix that, you need to go to Edit, File, Build Settings, go to your player settings, then scroll down here to your define symbols, your define symbols here. And we're going to add a compiler preprocessor that will tell Unity which GLTF importer to use by default. And so that is, all right. So you would enter this one, which would disable the default importer for Uni GLTF, as well as GLB, apply that. And then the compiler error, not knowing which importer to use, should go away. Okay. So we've got our libraries imported. One is the SDK, the other is handling GLBs once we connect. Okay, so now we're ready to, or we're almost ready to use the importer. What we're doing at MONA, if you're new to MONA, is a metaverse platform. And so this primary platform on monaverse.com allows you to visit virtual world spaces that are built in Unity and bring your avatars in and look at art and experience spaces. And that's all done on kind of like a hosted platform. What we're doing with the SDK is kind of opening it up so that the Monaverse can like expand beyond this centralized place into kind of wherever you want to take it. And so within Unity, you can build to different platforms, like I said, or you can build to your own website. It doesn't matter. But what we'll be doing is integrating two things. One, tokens that you have created and minted in MONA, as well as tokens that have been indexed by our SDK on contracts that you control. So so to get started, what we're going to do is we're going to use some tokens that we're going to create on MONA's backend, and then we'll be able to pull them into our Unity session and be able to load them at runtime inside your game. But like I said, if you have your own contract with GLBs, you can also reach out to us on Discord and we can get those indexed in our SDK so that you'll be able to access those tokens through the SDK. And so here I'm going to sign in. Right now, I'm signing into staging.monaverse.com. Monaverse.com is our production environment, and you can also, excuse me, monaverse.com is our production environment, and I would recommend you sign in there. But basically, in order to use our SDK and to read your wallet, you need to have a MONA account. And so first, I recommend you sign up for a MONA account just by connecting your wallet, entering in your user information, and you should be set. Once you log in, you can go to the Create button here, which allows you to create spaces as well as browse, items that you own, and create avatars and what we call 3D objects we call artifacts. And so avatars are VRM files, and artifacts are just plain GLB files. As you'll notice here, I've taken one of the CCO VRMs, one of the Grifter VRMs, and just loaded it for testing purposes. This is not, public facing. And then I have like a space in progress here. And so, once you go in here, you can edit your preview image, which allows you to do a preview image. And then you can upload a VRM file. And you just edit and then drag and drop to upload the file. Right now, we have a 12 megabyte limit. If you need more than that, give us a shout out and we'll see what we can do. So anyway, I have uploaded a VRM here. And again, if you want to create an artifact, you can go through, enter your test artifact, continue, and upload a GLB. Now, like I said, these are uploaded to our backend. They are possible to mint as a token on our contract and sell in the marketplace. But right now, I'm using this just for development purposes. So this is a nice way to be able to upload tokens that show up in our SDK and be able to pull them in. Okay. So we've downloaded the SDK, we've imported our libraries, we've signed up for a MONA account. We have a VRM. So now let's look at connecting and loading it into our game. Okay, so I'm gonna go back here. In order to, first you'll need to create a scene, and then you'll need to drop the Monaverse Manager prefab. That is found in Monaverse Core Prefabs, and you wanna drop that manager into your scene. We'll want to initialize it on awake. You can leave the MONA application ID blank for now since we're early experiments. You don't need that. And then this is, you'll want to enter your own Wallet Connect ID. And then you can connect to our SDK via staging or production. So I'm going to switch this over to staging and go from there. Okay, so now, actually, I'm gonna start a new scene. Oops, excuse me. Let's say, okay. All right, so we're gonna drop that in. We're gonna drop a camera, and we're gonna drop a plane, and we're gonna make camera like this a little bit. Okay. All right, and then we're going to do an empty object. This will be our connector MONA demo, and then we'll drop a. I'm going to create a script, drop it on here. All right. Okay, so far so good. So I'm going to do a very bare bones demo here. Like I said, if you want something more elaborate, I'd recommend going into the examples in our SDK. But this will just be as close to the metal as possible. So on start, I'm just going to invoke the connect like a second later. And so the first thing that we'll do is connect a wallet. And so to do that, we're using await async style calls. And so I've created a private wallet address, and we're going to connect to wallet and then output that wallet address. And in fact, I'm going to disconnect first, just to make sure we're going through like a fresh session. Oops. That's good. Delay. Okay. All right. So let's give this a shot. The MONA Manager includes a Wallet Connect UI, like a default UI. If you want to override that, you can mess with that. But what should happen is after I start, after a second, looks like it's connected already. Just a moment. Let me make sure I disconnect first. Let's try that again. All right. Looks like it's resuming my session. Let's do a different scene. We are saving sessions so that you don't have to, once you've connected once, you don't have to re-authenticate every time. But let's do this one. We'll just use the existing. See if we can get it to refresh. There we go. Okay. So once you connect, the very first thing you'll be challenged with is a QR code. We long-term will probably be going with your extensions in the browser, but right now we're just depending on a QR code. So I'm using MetaMask on my phone. So I will authenticate that, connect. Once we connect, we get my wallet address back. At that point, now that we have the wallet address, we can authenticate on the back end. And if your wallet address is tied to a MONA account, then it should authenticate. And once it authenticates, it asks for you to sign a message. And that is how we're completing our authentication. Once you're connected, you can get the collectibles that are tied to your account. And you should see that we have, hidden behind there, but you can see I have 14 items. Okay, so now that we can connect, we can authenticate and get collectibles. I will walk you through what that looks like in code, but looks like it's not going to challenge me. So let's try that again. Or actually, I'm going to go back here and disconnect. We'll see if we can get it to prompt us. Oop, running for some time here. Come on. Okay, while we wait for it to compile. Not sure what's going on there. Let me restart Unity. All right, let's load that back up again. Try that again. Hey. Okay, connected, disconnect. All right. So demo scene. Okay, so now we see that it connects the wallet. So I'm going to scan it, confirm it. All right. Now you see how we get our wallet address. All right, so let's go back here. Oops. Okay. Once we have our wallet address, we can see if we are authenticated. And so to do that, we ask, is the wallet authorized? If it's already authorized, you can move on to loading up your tokens. If it's not authorized, then you're going to want to authorize your wallet. We'll go through a positive flow here. Authorized wallet will then ask you for a signature. We prepare a signature, ask you for the signature, and then you get a response back. Authorized wallet, or the authorization result, can be any of these messages. And so if it's authorized, then we're good to go. Okay. And then after authorization, oops. Okay. Now, after we're authorized, we're connected. And so at that point, we can fetch our tokens. So to do that, just a moment. There we go. Let me get collectibles in there. Sorry, just a moment. There we are. Okay. All right. So after that, we're going to get our collectibles. Okay. And let's double check that we have our tokens here. Oops. Okay. Oops. Tokens. Data. Okay. And our token response should ask us if we were successful. So, all right. So let's try that. Okay, so it's asking me for a signature on my phone. I'm going to sign it. And now that I'm authenticated, you see I have 14 tokens. Okay, well, let's look at what one of those tokens looks like. What I'm going to do is that since tokens data is just let's call this tokens response. Okay. Tokens, those response. Oops. Goodness. Data. Okay, so let's look for a token. And we're going to say tokens, find. Okay, and we're going to return where X, that title contains, I'm just going to use the grifter, or actually, let's say type equals avatar. Okay. So once I have that, oops. Okay, so let's look at the token. I'm going to close down my other Unity script so that we can debug this. Oops. Okay. All right. This up. Okay. Oops. Excuse me. All right. So let's run it again. And once we get our tokens back, in this case, the one I uploaded to MONA, here, let's try disconnecting again. Okay, so we'll sign in. Right. Sign. Okay. Now, well, token avatar didn't look like it returned, but let's look through here. Okay, so here are our tokens. Oh, you know what? I might be on production. Double check. Yeah. Yep, I don't have any avatars on this one, so I must be on production. Let me do it again. Let's see. Yep. So disconnect again. Right. Sorry. Okay, so now that I have my token, you can see that we include all the NFT token information. Also, if there are traits on the token, we include those as well. In this case, it's like we have some default traits that have been included. This is type avatar. The most important thing right now is the URL. The URL's in the versions tab. And so under versions, you'll see that I have asset, and then this is the URL to the VRM. So in order to get that, we're going to look at the URL equals token.versions and token.activeversion. And then, oops, excuse me, asset. All right. So this should give us the URL. I'm going to unload here. Okay, so now that we have the URL, we're going to load it using the GLTF loader. And so I created a sample script here. I can drop it in the Discord if y'all want it. Let's see, GLP loader. Here we go. This is a script I use to load the VRM, and if it's not a VRM, fall back to a GLTF. The long and short of it is that you have to go get, you have to do a web request to load the byte array of the data. And then once you have the byte array of the data, you send it through a GLB parser. And once you send it through the GLB parser, it will give you a game object out of that, and then you can do whatever you want with the game object. So like I said, I'll drop this in the Discord because we are over time. But if you have any questions there, feel free to reach out. In this case, what we'll do is I'm just going to add the GLB loader to my object, and then we will call load and load the object into the scene. Okay, so come back here, MONA demo, let's load the GLB loader, come back here, we're going to say loader equals get component, GLB loader. Okay, and then load URL. Whether or not you want to import the default animation in this case. So I'm going to just say true, and then a callback. And so this is game object, and then once we have the object, I'm just going to set the position. And I'm going to set the rotation to turn around. Okay. Oops. Okay, so what this should do, as long as it all works here, is load our GLB into the scene. All right, so I'm gonna go back, wallet connect, let's save this. Let's make sure we can go through the whole flow again. Connect, disconnect, okay. Go back to the scene. And let's see what we get. Okay. Speed assign. Get our URL. Oh, there our little guy is. And so you can see GLB has been loaded in. So yeah, open for questions again on Discord. If you want to reach out, go ahead, and we'll be around. This works in iOS, Android, WebGL, and desktop. And yeah, thanks for joining.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ryan, for that awesome presentation. Are there any questions or comments or anything you'd like to ask Ryan? All right. Well, just want to say thanks so much again for joining us, Ryan. If you'd like to connect with Mona, just please go to Discord, and it's partner-Mona on the ETH Global Discord channel, and you can ask your questions there. Thanks so much for joining us today, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.